Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Tyler from Valve News Network, and today I'm going to be telling you how to get the highest frames per second or performance out of any Source Engine game, but more specifically, Team Fortress 2. Here we go. Now, just so you're aware, this guide is for people that cannot run Team Fortress 2 at a playable frame rate, or for anybody that wants to be able to get more frames per second out of their game. The first and most important thing that you can do for Team Fortress 2 to be able to improve your frames per second is remove particles. There is a Steam forum post that I linked in the description that includes a lot of custom particles to be able to install to your game. These custom particles actually just remove themselves entirely. You're able to choose between DirectX 8 and DirectX 9 themed particles to be able to tune correctly to your specific game. This has an incredibly high gain of FPS, as particle effects are very CPU hungry. Next, you can install low poly count Team Fortress 2 models. There are a few different types of models you can install, but the best one that I think is the old school poly count pack. This replaces all the models in the game with a lower poly count model counterpart. This makes it easier on the computer to be able to process the graphics. This, along with the particle removers, are probably the best things you can do to be able to improve frames per second in the game's files. The other big difference that you can make is using an FPS config. Now, there is a website called FPS Config Generator where you can create your own configs for Team Fortress 2. You have many different choices, and you can actually make your graphics better using these configuration files, but there are a few different higher FPS configuration files that I very much recommend if you're trying to make your game run smoother. You can also install the No Hats project, which removes all hats from the game. This is another custom add-on that you can put into the game's files, and this kind of adds a little bit of medium gain, especially if you're playing on a server with a couple of people with unusual effects, as those themselves actually tax more on your processor. The only other thing regarding the files that you can use is defragmenting your game's files every time an update comes out. This makes it easier for your hard drive to be able to access the files in-game, and it makes the game load faster. Now, there are things you can do to your operating system to make the game run smooth as well. I'm just going to cover the ones that you can do in Windows, like installing a program called Game Booster. Game Booster itself is a program that just takes all the background unnecessary processes running and shuts them off, so your computer is specifically just running what it needs to be able to play the game. The only other thing I can recommend doing is upgrading your motherboard's BIOS. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe just ignore this step. But if you haven't upgraded your BIOS, here's your reminder to upgrade it, as it might give you CPU or GPU performance boosts. So that is pretty much everything I can recommend in terms of making your Team Fortress 2 run faster and smoother. It might make your graphics look a bit more ugly, but it will make your frames per second much higher and more playable. So if you like this video, please click the like button, share, favorite, link, subscribe, do all that stuff. I have a Twitch profile now where I do a bunch of streams. There will be some Team Fortress 2 streams coming very, very shortly, so go check that out. Link is in the description. Go follow my Steam group where you will be able to be updated on anything that I do at all. It's really nice over there, and we have a lot of discussions going on, so why don't you go check that out. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. As you know, I'm Tyler McVicker. This is Valve News Network. Thanks a lot, guys.